Today we're looking at FAQs, the bread and butter for customers who are confused on a site. But not just customers, FAQs are also used for search engines and now AI models. So I want to cover three things as fast as possible. Number one, why should you care about adding FAQs to your site? Number two, how can you automate writing all of your FAQs? Because I get it, you're busy and there's no point doing this if it's going to take a full day. And number three, how can we add and organize this best in Webflow? And for that step, I'm going to recommend that we're using a CMS collection for our FAQs, and I'll provide a clonable that you can use too. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's very quickly talk about why you should care. Well, FAQs address the needs of three key audiences: confused customers seeking answers, search engines indexing our content, and also AI models who are gathering information about brands and businesses. Humans are naturally wired to ask questions. I'm much better at asking questions than answering them. And so it's a primary way that we interact with search engines and AI models. And these systems, in turn, aim to find content that effectively answers our questions. So questions and answers are fundamental to the way that we interact with the web. But you already know that, so let's move on. Because next we need to look at how we can automate writing FAQs. Because I get it, you're busy. You probably already left this video to work on something else. But if you're still with me, let's look at how we can automate writing FAQs. Now, in a perfect world, your FAQs would come from existing customers, from support emails, chat logs, and social media inquiries, for example. If you have a tool where you can wrap all of this content together in one place, then that's a great starting place. But if you're in the dark or you don't have access to use that data, then you have to fall on generating the FAQs yourself with the help of some Gen AI. So we're going to start with one page that we want to generate some FAQs for, and if you want to, you can scale this out to do it for several pages. It could be for all of your product pages, all of your solutions pages, really whatever collection of pages across your website that you want. But we're just going to start with the one page for now. I've added a blank section where we're going to put our FAQs, so now we just need to generate them. Usually you would generate them by inputting the URL of your page with all of the content that you already have about your service or product. And you might also add in the URL of the homepage as well, just to give it context about the whole organization, the whole website. But since we don't have that, we're just going to do it based on the kind of content that we're wanting. So we're wanting FAQs for corporate finances for startups. Let's go back down to our section. We'll bring up ChatGPT and we'll just start telling it what we're wanting. I want to generate some FAQs for a startup page. On my website, I provide financial services to startups. So that's what I want the FAQs to be about. First, generate 8 questions that you're going to write the FAQs for, but just give me the questions so I can approve those first. And then hopefully we will have a bunch of questions generated. We can look at these. We can see which of these might not fit, or if all of them are okay. So I'm having a look at my list. I'm thinking they're a little long, so I'm going to let them know that. And I'm also, let's say I don't want 6. Firstly, the questions are a little long, so make them shorter. Also, I don't want question 6, but other than that, feel free to write out the answers for all of these questions. And so once they've done that, slightly shorter answers and then longer questions. So now we have the content for our FAQs. We have the questions there and the answers there. All we need to do is get it onto our site and in a way that we're going to, it's going to be convenient and we're going to be able to scale it upwards later on. What I would recommend doing is, rather than dropping in a FAQ block and adding in all of this content statically, I'd recommend we instead use a CMS collection for this content. So first, what I'm going to ask ChatGPT to do is, can you provide a CSV file for these questions and answers? So the first column should be questions and the second column should be answers. And while that is providing the file for us, just leave that off to the side. What we're going to do is we're going to drop in we're going to set up a collection and then drop in a block for that collection. So I'm going to go into my CMS. I'm going to add a new collection for my FAQs. Another thing that I might want to do is add a collection for the different pages that I'm going to have my FAQs on. So FAQ pages. For now, I just have the one page, but obviously it's going to scale over time. So right now, the FAQ page that I have is for startups. And we can queue that for the next site publish. And then, yeah, that's good to go. And we have our CSV file here. We can download that one, save that one, and now import our FAQs that we've just generated. Yes, that's the header. We're going to map this to the name and map this to a rich text field. The reason we make it rich text is so we can add links if we want to, bullet points if we want to later on, but we'll just leave that for now and we'll import those collection items. We have that in. And the other thing that I'm going to add is the reference to our FAQ pages. We're going to say just the page that it's on, and then we can go through and add which page this is on. Let me quickly do that now. So I have my CMS collection and collection items fully ready to go. All we need to do now is put it on the page. And I'm going to provide this clonable so that you can do that yourself. You can quickly see here we have this CMS connected example of how we want it to end up. We have the FAQ item, the question, and the answer. But we're not going to copy that. We're just going to copy this static block, which is where we're going to put it into our CMS. So we'll go back to our website. We're going to add in a collection list. We're going to add in our FAQs, and we're going to drop in that block that we just copied. Now all we need to do is connect up our question, connect up our answer, which is going to be the rich text piece, not just the paragraph. Connect that up. And all we'll do is now just select the collection and make sure that the filter is the page equaling this page. So now, as you can imagine, we can copy this whole section, pop it onto a different page. And then when we add new FAQs into our FAQ collection, we're going to ask ChatGPT, can you add a third column? And can you call the page corporate? And then we'll add a new FAQ page item for corporate, and then make sure that we're filtering that page just by corporate. So that way we can continuously build our FAQs, continue to add FAQs within our CMS collection. So that's how you can quickly add an FAQ system to an existing Webflow website. And I'll leave a link to the clonable in the description. Thank you for watching.